But the Cardinals also got a crazy rally cry going. We've all seen it. The Tarps Off movement has heated up, and they've reinvigorated the Cardinals. I don't know if they reinvigorated them.
I would say the entire baseball landscape they've been reinvigorated.
They fired up the entire sport. You got to respect it. But since, the Tarps Off movement has started, the Cardinals find themselves in second place, man. Second place. They've surpassed the Cubs, the Reds, and the Pirates to make second place. The Tarps Off movement has officially taken over baseball. The question is now that people are trying to find out, where does this trend actually start? So we all saw last week the Cardinals guys started doing it, and that kind of took the social media, the world, by storm. However, if you remember in April, there was a few guys in Colorado who took their shirts off at a game, started chanting, took them off, and turned into a group of 100 plus people with no shirts on, waving their shirts. We covered this when it happened. So that happened at least a month and a half before this newest rendition. Shortly after that, there was another Tarps Off section at the Reds game. Some Reds did it in the rain. It occurred at a UFL game before the Cardinals did it. It then occurred at a college baseball game this April. The most notable origin story was the Oklahoma State football game. So this fall, a fan took off his shirt at an empty section, and what is Oklahoma? Stillwater, Oklahoma. Started waving his shirt around like he just don't care. Next thing you know, hundreds of fans followed him, and there's a whole shirtless section at Oklahoma State waving their shirts around. The university changed the name of this section from 231 to 2 No Shirty 1, and shirtless fans waved their shirts there for the rest of the year in Stillwater. I think the team went like 1-11. They sucked what. Yet they got excited because they got to take their shirts off. I mean, who doesn't love taking their shirt off at a game?
My shirt's off right now.
Yeah, why don't you actually do something good for the podcast for once, Jack, and take your shirt off?
I'm flattered. Do you think it would do good for the podcast?
I think it'd be good on TikTok, or we get banned. It's a risk. You got to take a risk. So after that, shirtless section started taking the college football landscape by storm. So if you're not a college football fan, you're just a baseball fan. You thought that just showed up in the baseball world. This has been in the college football world for an entire season. However, the Red Sox, so I think a lot of college stadiums had shirtless fan sections this season. However, the Red Sox claim they actually were the ones who started it. Back in 2023, we saw a shirtless section at Fenway Park during a rainy day game. And then you can see this guy, I don't know this guy's name, but he's the obsessed Japanese Shohei fan who was right in the middle of it all with his shirt on, by the way. So, I mean, this is the first example we can find of it, of a whole entire section with no shirts on. However, they are not really all waving them in the air like, the modern day interpretation of the Tarps Off movement. Not only is your top off, you should be waving that thing in the sky. Like a rally towel. Either way, the current trend taking off in MLB right now, as we know, started last week when a bunch of college kids took their shirts off, started waving them in the air at the Cardinals game. So within an inning, there was 4 sections of them. The Cardinals won. They were invited to the clubhouse. The manager bought 4 entire sections of the stadium for fans to take their shirts off and cheer the next day. So the next day, we got even more shirtless guys cheering on the team. Since then, this has spread across baseball. So a few days later, the Rays created a Tarps Off section. I shouldn't say the Rays started it. It was really just Rays fans started it. They had a bunch of guys in Tampa Bay. I don't remember ever seeing Tampa Bay this fucking excited to see baseball games.
They're just excited to be shirtless. That's actually a real thing in Tampa. We all drive shirtless. It's hot. It's sunny.
Not in the dome, though.
You don't think it's hot?
In the dome? No. Air conditioning, dog. At the Trop.
It's covered like that. I don't remember. I don't remember anything about
This guy hates the Rays so much. It's embarrassing. This guy hates the Rays.
You're starting to give me hate mail by doing this.
Either way, the Rays win the game. The players start rallying the shirtless section. The second baseman tweets, "Y'all boys better pull up tomorrow." And boy, do they show up tomorrow. So the Rays did Tarps Off 3 games in a row. They haven't had a home game since, but the Rays tarp section looks honestly on par with the Cardinals tarps off section. Kids with their shirts off also showed up to Washington, in Seattle, in Detroit, and in Philadelphia that day. At Angel Stadium, fans took their shirts off, started chanting, "Sell the team," and Artie sucks. So not only are they doing a tarps off section, they are rebelling against ownership and the team, because their team, I don't know how would you describe their team, Mitchell?
Pitiful.
They have a pitiful franchise.
How do you think it starts? Like, what is the origin in the games where this occurs? What do you think happens?
Well, I think what happens is that we got a group of 4 to 5 white boys go up in a section, and it's like the top section, and it's pretty empty, and they start waving, and then it's just a magnet. Next thing you know, there's 6, then there's 7, then there's 10.
But imagine seeing a group of 3 white guys with their shirts off, alone in a section. Someone at some point has to go, I'm going to go join those guys.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, I was at the Nats game last week, and I saw like 3 people try to start one. And it didn't really.
See, that's embarrassing.
Off. It was embarrassing. You know, I saw like some people read. I saw like 3 people up here. No one really followed them. And then they had a group over here that was like 6 people. You know, it didn't really rally the troops to the point. But I could see definitely in a maybe more well attended game earlier in the game, maybe in a different scenario, I could see this really working.
I think what the college kids in St. Louis had on their side was there were like 15 of them. So you have 15 people from the jump. It makes it a lot easier to like jump in. But if it's just like 2 or 3 guys, that's really tough to kind of convince people to join in. But with the Cardinals people, they had a full section from the get-go. And if you're like right next to it, very easy to jump in. You're not going to be alone.
You're saying 2 to 3 guys could be like a pause situation. 15, that's more like a day at the beach.
2 or 3 guys, it's like call security. These 2 guys are too drunk. 15 guys, it's like, oh, they're just having fun.
Well, I think you get enough shirtless guys. They're really not. You can't really contain them.
No, at a certain point, the numbers eventually they outnumber the security.
And we have seen some teams try to contain, and it's not really always worked. I mean, listen, your favorite team, Jack, the Miami Marlins, they're anti-tarps on. They're tarps on.
They're tarps on?
They're tarps on, dude. They kicked out fans from being tarps off, kicked them out of the section. They said they cannot have a tarps off section in Miami.
Gotta let it roll in Miami, dude. You know, I mean, probably wouldn't even be just men. It'd be women with their tarps off.
Maybe that's what they're worried about.
With their tarps out. You know what I'm saying?
It's free the titty, right? What were they used to say? Free the nipple.
Free the nips.
Free the nip. So the Marlins tried to do a tarps off section. You cannot do tarps off. The fans were kicked out of the section. The tarps off section in Milwaukee got so out of hand that the ushers had to subdue them, but they had a hard time stopping the vulgar chants. So that's a pretty insane video, like I said, where you can see how this can get out of hand. These ushers are trying to tell them to chill out. It's just there's too many of them. You can't tell the boys to stop. They're not listening. So the next day in Milwaukee, they start checking tickets in the 400 sections. According to what I've heard, that's the first time they've ever done it. They're cracking down on top.
No one checks tickets in the 400 section except maybe Nats Park.
Except Nats Park, because I mean, how dare you ever try to get a deal in the nation's capital? Do you know where you're at right now? Nats Park, the most hallowed ground in professional sports. Did you see that Nats are getting exposed by Project Veritas today?
What?
They're dropping a bomb on the Nats. I'm like, I wonder what this is about. They're gonna get an under camera. The Washington Nationals are getting exposed. So we might have to do a follow-up episode on that. I wonder what they could have done wrong this time. Either way. Phillies fans started doing the tarps off section in the rain. There was tarps off supporters in Seattle, in New York, in Boston, in San Francisco, in Atlanta, in Arizona, in San Diego, in Kansas City, in Cincinnati. There was even Reds fans. They were St. Louis fans doing it in Cincinnati. So the moral of the story is, if you haven't tried the tarps off movement, you are lacking. Every team has done it. If you haven't done it, then you ain't even a freaking team. And of all the teams who have done it, the Cardinals have seen the best results.